Do you feel like your life is spinning out of control? Are you stuck, overwhelmed, or unsure how to move forward? In a world that never stops moving, it's easy to feel like you're drowning under the weight of expectations. Perhaps you're battling the pressures of work deadlines, struggling to maintain harmony in relationships, or constantly comparing yourself to others on social media. The chaos can feel relentless, leaving you lost, frustrated, and disconnected. But what if there was a way to regain control, find clarity, and rediscover your inner strength? Enter Stoicism, a philosophy not just for ancient scholars, but for anyone seeking balance and resilience in the modern world. Rooted in the timeless wisdom of thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, Stoicism offers practical tools to face life's challenges with grace, focus, and purpose. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This profound idea reminds us that while we can't always control what happens around us, we can master our thoughts, emotions, and actions. This is where true transformation begins. In this guide, we'll delve into the timeless principles of Stoicism and uncover actionable steps to help you fix your life, starting today. Let's embark on this journey together and reclaim the life you deserve. Step 1. Accept what you can't control. Imagine this. A dedicated employee, lauded for their work ethic and dependability, suddenly loses their job during a global pandemic. The financial security they had worked so hard to build crumbles in an instant. They're left staring at mounting bills, worrying about how to support their family, and battling an overwhelming sense of uncertainty. Nights are sleepless, filled with spiraling thoughts of worst-case scenarios. What if I can't find another job? How will I provide for my family? What if I lose everything? The harder they try to control the uncontrollable, economic conditions, hiring freezes, and industry downturns, the deeper their despair becomes. This situation is all too familiar. Many of us have faced moments when life feels utterly out of control, whether it's the loss of a job, a health crisis, or a strained relationship. The underlying frustration often stems from a deeply ingrained but flawed belief that control equals security. We convince ourselves that if we could only control everything around us, we'd feel safe and fulfilled. But life, as we all know, doesn't work that way. Enter the timeless wisdom of Epictetus, who wrote in his Enchiridion, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." At first glance, this might seem like an oversimplification. How can we take the rest as it happens when we're drowning in uncertainty? But this principle isn't about giving up. It's about redirecting your energy toward what you can truly influence, your thoughts, actions, and choices. The core of this philosophy lies in the ability to distinguish between what is within your control and what isn't. Epictetus divided life into two domains: things within our power, like our beliefs, decisions, and responses, and things outside our power, such as the actions of others, the weather, or economic forces. When we pour our energy into trying to control the latter, we not only waste our efforts, but also amplify feelings of frustration and helplessness. Conversely, focusing on what we can control empowers us to act meaningfully and build resilience. Returning to our example, the laid-off employee can't undo the pandemic or change the company's decision to downsize, but they can shift their focus. Instead of fixating on what they've lost, they might ask, "What skills can I develop to make myself more competitive in the job market? How can I restructure my budget to weather this period?" By channeling their energy into areas within their control, they begin to regain a sense of agency and purpose. This principle is not just theoretical, It's a practical roadmap for navigating life's challenges. The first step is to acknowledge the mental trap of trying to control the uncontrollable. Ask yourself, how many of your worries stem from things you genuinely cannot influence? For example, you might stress about a co-worker's attitude, the outcome of an upcoming election, or an unpredictable weather event. These are all external factors beyond your control. Once you identify them, draw a clear line. On one side, list what's within your reach, and on the other, list what isn't. The next step is the most challenging, but also the most liberating. Letting go of what's outside your control. This isn't about apathy or resignation. It's about reclaiming your energy for what truly matters. Instead of resisting reality, practice acceptance. Replace the narrative of "this isn't fair" with "this is the situation. How can I respond constructively?" Acceptance doesn't mean you're okay with the circumstances. It means you acknowledge their existence so you can focus on your next steps. To integrate this principle into your daily life, consider adopting a simple yet powerful exercise. Each morning, write down one concern that's been occupying your thoughts. Then ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is yes, outline one specific action you can take today to address it. If the answer is no, practice releasing it. You might visualize the worry as a physical weight and imagine yourself setting it down. Over time, this habit trains your mind to focus on what's actionable and release what's not. The benefits of this practice extend far beyond the immediate challenges you face. Accepting what you can't control nurtures mental clarity, emotional stability, and even physical well-being. You conserve energy that would otherwise be wasted on frustration and redirect it toward meaningful actions. You become less reactive to external events and more anchored in your inner strength. In essence, you embody what the Stoics call ataraxia, a state of serene calm in the face of life's uncertainties. Think of this principle as a skill, not a one-time decision. Just like building physical strength requires consistent exercise, building emotional resilience requires regular practice. Over time, you'll find that situations that once triggered anxiety or anger no longer hold the same power over you. Now, reflect on your own life. What's one worry that's been consuming your energy? Perhaps it's a work deadline, a family dispute, or even a global issue beyond your reach. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If not, how can I let it go? Share your thoughts in the comments below. You might inspire someone else to release their own burdens. By accepting what you can't control, you take the first step toward a more empowered, focused life. This is the essence of Stoicism, not in changing the world, but in transforming how you respond to it. So, what will you let go of today? Let's take this journey together. Step 2. Master your emotions. As you begin to let go of what you cannot control, the next challenge emerges. Mastering the emotions that arise from these uncontrollable situations. Imagine this. You've accepted that a colleague's behavior is beyond your control. Yet, every time they undermine your efforts or make dismissive comments, a surge of anger rises within you. You snap at them in a meeting, and the tension between you escalates further. Now, the problem isn't just their behavior, it's the way your emotions are dictating your actions. This brings us to one of the most powerful lessons in Stoicism. Emotions themselves are not the problem. They are natural human responses. What truly matters is how we react to them. As Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. In other words, the colleague's words are not inherently harmful. The distress stems from how you interpret and respond to them. To illustrate this principle, Imagine a conversation between you and Marcus Aurelius himself. Frustrated after yet another clash with your colleague, you turn to him for advice. Marcus, I try to stay calm, but their constant criticism drives me mad. How can I not feel angry when they act this way? The emperor smiles gently. Anger is not a flaw, he replies, but a signal, a teacher. It shows you where your expectations conflict with reality. You expect your colleague to respect you, yet they do not. The question is, what will you do with that anger? Will you let it control you, or use it to learn patience, understanding, and self-control? You pause, considering his words. But what if I can't stop myself in the moment? Marcus nods knowingly. It takes practice. Start small. When you feel the anger rising, pause, breathe deeply, count to 10, then ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years, even 5 weeks? With time, you will see that most of the things that provoke us are fleeting, unworthy of the energy we give them. Returning to the modern workplace, this advice is transformative. The colleague's criticism might remain, but your reaction can change. Instead of snapping back or internalizing their negativity, you can pause and respond calmly, or not at all. This shift in approach not only preserves your peace of mind, but also protects your relationships and professional reputation. The act of mastering emotions begins with awareness. When a strong emotion arises, be it anger, fear, or jealousy, acknowledge it without judgment. Say to yourself, I feel anger right now. This simple act creates a crucial gap between the emotion and your reaction. In that gap lies your power to choose how to respond. To build this skill, consider starting a thought and emotion journal. Each day, jot down moments when you felt overwhelmed by an emotion. What triggered it? How did you react? How could you have responded differently? Over time, patterns will emerge, revealing the underlying beliefs or expectations fueling your emotional responses. By identifying these triggers, you can begin to reframe them. Instead of thinking, my colleague disrespects me, shift to, their words reflect their perspective, not my worth. Another effective strategy is what modern psychologists call cognitive distancing, a concept deeply rooted in Stoicism. When faced with a provoking situation, imagine yourself as an observer, watching the scene unfold. Instead of seeing the interaction through your eyes, view it as though you were watching a movie. How would you advise the character in your position? This perspective often reveals calmer, more constructive responses than those driven by immediate emotion. Let's revisit our example. Instead of responding with anger to your colleague's criticism, you might say, I appreciate your feedback. Let me think about how I can improve. This response disarms hostility and demonstrates professionalism. Even if the feedback is unfounded, your composed reaction reflects inner strength, a key tenet of Stoicism. Now, think about your own experiences. What's one emotion you've let control you in the past week? Was it frustration during a traffic jam? Anxiety over an uncertain outcome? How did it affect your actions, and what might have been different if you had paused to reflect before reacting? Share your story in the comments. You might inspire someone else to take their first step toward emotional mastery. Mastering emotions doesn't mean suppressing them. Stoicism isn't about becoming a cold, unfeeling robot. It's about understanding that emotions are signals, not commands. They alert us to challenges and opportunities, but they don't dictate our behavior unless we allow them to. Through mindful practice, pausing, journaling, and reframing, we can transform emotional impulses into intentional actions. The next time anger, fear, or frustration wells up, remember Marcus Aurelius's advice. The pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. Take a deep breath. Count to 10. Ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? In most cases, the answer will be no, and with that realization comes a profound sense of liberation. What emotions do you struggle with the most? How might mastering them improve your relationships, career, or peace of mind? Share your thoughts below, and let's create a community where we support each other in this journey. If this resonates with you, don't forget to like and share this guide. Together, we can all learn to rise above the noise of our emotions and build a life of clarity and strength. Step 3. Embrace voluntary discomfort. You've begun to master your emotions, taking control of your inner world. Now comes a crucial next step: training yourself to thrive under pressure by embracing voluntary discomfort. Imagine a young professional, Alex, who dreams of starting their own business. Every day, Alex thinks, I'll start when I have more experience, or I need to save a bit more money first. Months turn into years, and the dream remains just that, a dream. Alex isn't lacking potential. They're avoiding the discomfort of uncertainty, risk, and hard work. This avoidance isn't unique. Many of us cling to comfort zones, believing they protect us. But as Stoic philosopher Epictetus observed, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. True strength, according to Stoicism, comes from simplicity, discipline, and the willingness to endure challenges. Voluntary discomfort is a practice where you deliberately face minor hardships to strengthen your resilience for life's inevitable difficulties. Picture a conversation between Alex and Epictetus. Frustrated by their inaction, Alex says, "I want to chase my dream, but I'm afraid of failing. How do I start?" Epictetus responds calmly, "What you fear is not failure itself, but the discomfort it brings. Understand this: each time you delay, you strengthen the chains of fear. Freedom begins with small, deliberate acts of courage. Skip a luxury you don't need. Tackle a task you've avoided. Every step away from comfort is a step toward freedom." Voluntary discomfort teaches us to befriend challenges instead of avoiding them. When you deliberately choose discomfort in controlled settings, whether fasting for a day, taking a cold shower, or confronting a difficult conversation, you train your mind to adapt. Life's inevitable hardships become less daunting because you've built a foundation of mental and emotional toughness. Alex could begin with small steps. Instead of waiting for the perfect time, they might set aside an hour each week to work on their business plan. Each small action chips away at fear and builds momentum. The beauty of voluntary discomfort is that it multiplies your confidence over time. With each challenge you overcome, you expand your comfort zone and develop a deeper appreciation for what you already have. This principle isn't just about physical or financial challenges, it extends to emotional discomfort as well. Consider the act of apologizing to someone you've wronged. It's uncomfortable, vulnerable, and requires humility. Yet, the relief and clarity it brings often outweigh the momentary discomfort. In the same way, learning a new skill or reaching out to someone for mentorship might feel intimidating, but the growth it fosters is priceless. One powerful way to embrace voluntary discomfort is to disconnect from distractions. Imagine this. You decide to turn off your phone and log out of social media for an entire day. At first, the silence feels overwhelming. No notifications, no scrolling, no digital noise. But as the hours pass, you find yourself more present, focused, and connected to your thoughts. By deliberately facing the discomfort of solitude, you rediscover the value of your time and energy. Another way to practice is by tackling tasks you've been putting off. Maybe it's learning a skill you find challenging, or finally organizing the cluttered garage. These tasks, though minor, create a ripple effect. Completing one difficult action boosts your confidence to take on larger challenges. To take this practice further, consider setting daily micro-challenges. These don't need to be grand or extreme, they just need to push you slightly beyond your comfort zone. For instance, take a cold shower tomorrow morning, walk instead of driving for a short trip, or start a difficult conversation you've been avoiding. These actions, though small, build resilience and prove to yourself that discomfort isn't the enemy. It's the path to strength. Now reflect on your own life. What's one challenge you've been avoiding? Is it a career decision, a difficult conversation, or perhaps a personal habit you've been meaning to change? What's stopping you from taking it on? Write it down, break it into smaller steps, and commit to taking the first step today. Share your challenge in the comments below. Your story might inspire someone else to face their fears. Voluntary discomfort isn't about seeking misery. It's about strengthening your capacity to endure and appreciate. When you practice this principle, you begin to value simplicity and resilience over fleeting pleasures. You become less reliant on external comforts and more grounded in your inner strength. Imagine Alex 1 year later. They've faced their fears, launched their business, and learned to navigate setbacks with grace. The success isn't just in the business itself, it's in the courage and discipline they've cultivated along the way. This transformation started not with a massive leap, but with small, deliberate steps into discomfort. In your own journey, ask yourself, what's one luxury or habit I can forgo today to become stronger tomorrow? What's one risk I can take to grow beyond my current limits? Begin there and see how embracing discomfort shifts your perspective. If this resonates with you, like and share this guide with someone who could benefit from taking that first step. Together, let's redefine our relationship with discomfort and build lives that thrive under pressure. Step 4. Focus on your duty. Imagine waking up every morning feeling adrift, unsure of what the day holds or why it matters. This was the reality for Emma, a young professional who once had big dreams, but now finds herself coasting through life without purpose. Her days blur together, scrolling through social media, tackling tasks without enthusiasm, and ending each evening with a hollow sense of incompleteness. Emma isn't lazy or incapable. She's lost in the absence of a guiding purpose. She constantly wonders, what's the point of it all? Yet takes no meaningful steps to find out. This sense of disconnection is more common than we realize. Many of us drift through life, hoping that meaning or fulfillment will miraculously find us. But Stoicism offers a different perspective. Marcus Aurelius, in his profound simplicity, urges us, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. This principle reminds us that meaning isn't something to be discovered passively. It's something we create through our actions, especially when those actions align with our responsibilities to ourselves and others. Duty, in the Stoic sense, isn't a burden. It's a compass. It anchors us amid chaos and guides us toward a life of significance. To live with purpose, we must shift our focus from external validation to internal responsibility. Emma's problem wasn't a lack of opportunity or talent. It was her hesitation to commit to what truly mattered. She was so preoccupied with imagining the perfect purpose that she neglected the responsibilities already in front of her, her relationships, her career, and, most importantly, her personal growth. Let's imagine a conversation between Emma and Marcus Aurelius. Frustrated and restless, Emma asks, "How do I find my purpose? I've tried so many things, but nothing feels right." Marcus responds with calm clarity. Purpose isn't found in endless searching. It's forged in action. Begin with what's in front of you. Ask yourself, what duty have I neglected? What responsibility, if fulfilled, would make today meaningful? Stop waiting for the perfect answer and start building it, one task at a time. Taking this advice to heart, Emma decides to focus on one clear responsibility each day. Instead of worrying about long-term goals, she commits to small but significant actions, mentoring a junior colleague, completing a project she's been procrastinating on, and calling her grandmother just to say hello. Each act, though seemingly simple, begins to restore her sense of purpose. Slowly, Emma realizes that purpose isn't an abstract ideal. It's a daily practice of doing the next right thing. This shift from passivity to action is transformative. When we focus on our duties, whether at work, in relationships, or to ourselves, we stop drifting and start directing our lives. Each fulfilled responsibility becomes a building block for a meaningful existence. Importantly, Stoicism reminds us that duty isn't about perfection or grand gestures, it's about consistent, intentional effort. One powerful way to practice this is by identifying your one big thing each day, the single most important task that aligns with your values and responsibilities. Perhaps it's finishing an overdue report, apologizing to a loved one, or setting boundaries to protect your well-being. By completing this task first, you set a tone of purpose and progress for the day. Over time, these daily victories compound, creating a life of fulfillment and impact. Another vital question to ask yourself is, does what I'm doing today serve others? Stoicism teaches that our duties extend beyond personal gain. They include contributing to the well-being of our families, communities, and even humanity as a whole. For example, a teacher's duty isn't just to deliver lessons, it's to inspire curiosity and empower the next generation. A parent's duty isn't merely to provide for their children, but to nurture and guide them toward a good life. When we view our responsibilities through this lens, even mundane tasks gain deeper significance. Let's return to Emma. A few months after her conversation with Marcus Aurelius, she's a different person. Her days are no longer aimless, but filled with intentionality. She's found joy in the simple act of fulfilling her duties, helping a friend in need, giving her best at work, and setting aside time for personal reflection. Her life isn't perfect, but it's meaningful because she stopped searching for purpose and started living it. Now, reflect on your own life. What's one responsibility you've been neglecting? Is it spending quality time with your family, pursuing a project you've postponed, or taking better care of your health? How might fulfilling this duty change your sense of purpose and direction? Write it down and commit to taking the first step today. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story could inspire others to do the same. Living a life of duty doesn't mean sacrificing joy or freedom. It means aligning your actions with your values and embracing the power of small, meaningful acts. Each time you fulfill a responsibility, you strengthen your character, build trust in your relationships, and contribute to the greater good. This is the essence of Stoicism, creating purpose through purposeful action. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Stop waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect purpose, or the perfect plan. Begin today with what's in front of you, and let each act of responsibility bring you closer to the life you're meant to live. And if this resonates with you, don't forget to like, share, and engage with this guide. Together, we can build a community of purpose-driven individuals who inspire each other to live fully, responsibly, and meaningfully. Step 5. Memento Mori. Remember death. Imagine this. Sarah, a young professional, spends her days scrolling through social media, hopping between posts, reels, and updates from people she barely knows. Hours vanish without a trace, And when the day ends, she's left wondering where her time went. It's not that Sarah lacks dreams or ambitions. She often tells herself she'll start that passion project tomorrow or spend quality time with loved ones soon. But tomorrow turns into weeks, and weeks into months, as life continues in a blur of distractions. This is a trap many of us fall into, sacrificing the precious present for trivialities. Seneca, in his letters to Lucilius, offers a stark yet liberating reminder. Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. The Stoics embraced the concept of Memento Mori, remember you must die, not to instill fear, but to inspire urgency and purpose. By reflecting on the inevitability of death, we can gain clarity about what truly matters and stop wasting time on what doesn't. Sarah's story could have been different. Imagine if instead of losing hours to her phone, she paused and asked herself, if today were my last day, how would I want to spend it? This question reframes everything. The social media feed suddenly seems trivial compared to spending time with her family, pursuing her passion for writing, or simply enjoying a quiet walk outdoors. Recognizing the finite nature of life is like flipping a switch. It brings priorities into sharp focus and motivates us to act with intention. The Stoics weren't morbid or pessimistic in their contemplation of death. Instead, they saw it as a tool for living fully. By remembering that our time is limited, we stop postponing joy, connection, and purpose. We begin to see time as our most valuable currency, one that must be spent wisely. This perspective transforms even mundane tasks into opportunities for gratitude and growth. Imagine a conversation between Sarah and Seneca. Frustrated with her lack of progress, Sarah asks, "How can I stop wasting time? I feel like my days just slip away." Seneca replies, "You're not truly living if you let time pass unexamined. Each day ask yourself, what if this were my last?" When you reflect on the brevity of life, you realize that time is your greatest possession. Guard it jealously, spend it meaningfully, and you will find richness in even the simplest moments. Inspired by this advice, Sarah decides to change. She begins her mornings by writing down 3 things she wants to accomplish that day, things that align with her values and priorities. One day it's reaching out to an old friend she's drifted from. Another, it's dedicating 2 uninterrupted hours to her writing. And sometimes it's as simple as watching the sunset without distractions. These small acts, guided by the awareness of life's impermanence, start to transform her days. The hours she once squandered now feel purposeful and fulfilling. Memento Mori isn't about dwelling on death, it's about making life count. It teaches us to appreciate the present moment and live with gratitude. Consider how often we take time for granted, assuming there will always be another chance. We procrastinate, delay apologies, postpone dreams, all because we think we have unlimited tomorrows. But what if we didn't? How would you live differently if today were your last? Would you spend hours scrolling through your phone, or finally have that heartfelt conversation you've been avoiding? To embrace Memento Mori, start by reflecting on your priorities. Each morning, write down 3 things you want to achieve that day. Not generic tasks, but actions that bring meaning to your life. For example, instead of reply to emails, write, "Connect with a friend I've lost touch with." This practice forces you to focus on what truly matters and ensures you don't let time slip away unnoticed. Another powerful way to internalize this principle is by cultivating gratitude. Each evening, think about what made your day meaningful. Was it the laughter shared with a loved one? The satisfaction of completing a challenging task? By consciously recognizing these moments, you train yourself to value the present and let go of distractions. Memento Mori also challenges us to confront our fears. Often, the things we avoid, starting a new project, expressing our feelings, taking risks, are rooted in the illusion that we have endless time to act. When we acknowledge life's fragility, we realize that waiting is the real risk. Taking that leap, saying, "I love you," or starting that business idea becomes not just possible, but necessary. Returning to Sarah, 6 months into her practice of Memento Mori, she's no longer the same person. Her days feel richer, her connections deeper, and her goals clearer. She still uses social media, but now it's a tool, not a trap. She knows that every moment spent well is a victory against time's relentless march. Now think about your own life. If today were your last day, what would you do differently? What's stopping you from doing it now? Write it down, share it in the comments, and start taking action today. Your story could inspire someone else to embrace the present and live with intention. Life's brevity isn't something to fear, it's something to celebrate. Each fleeting moment is a chance to love, create, and connect. As Seneca reminds us, let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. By remembering death, we learn to truly live. And if this philosophy resonates with you, share it with someone who might need the same reminder. Together, let's commit to making every day count. Your life is a canvas, and with the right mindset and actions, you can turn it into a masterpiece. Over the course of this guide, we've explored 5 powerful Stoic principles. Accept what you can't control, master your emotions, embrace voluntary discomfort, focus on your duty, and remember the fleeting nature of time. These are not just abstract ideas. They are practical tools that can transform your life starting now. Imagine the person you could become if you began living by these principles today. Accept the challenges you face without being consumed by them. Redirect your energy from reacting emotionally to acting intentionally. Step outside your comfort zone to build resilience. Fulfill your responsibilities with purpose and integrity. And most importantly, value your time as the precious, limited gift it is. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. The power to change your life lies in how you think, how you act, and how you choose to spend each moment. The question is, what will you do with this power? Take one action from this guide today. Will you write down 3 things you want to achieve? Will you finally start that difficult conversation you've been avoiding? Or perhaps, will you spend an hour doing something that truly matters to you? Whatever it is, do it now. Share your choice in the comments below and inspire others to take their first steps toward transformation. If this guide resonated with you, don't let it stop here. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this message, and subscribe to our channel. By doing so, you'll not only commit to your own growth, but also help build a community of purpose-driven individuals striving to live their best lives. Hit the notification bell to ensure you never miss another insight that could change everything. Now it's your turn. Which step will you start with? This is your life. Take control and let Stoicism guide you to the strength and clarity you've always had within. Let's take this journey together.